Following the mass shooting at two mosques in New Zealand, massive memorials have formed outside of the scenes of the shootings. Huge piles of flowers and tributes from all around the world have poured in to honor the victims. Over the weekend, the 28-year-old suspect was formally charged with murder and has since fired his lawyer and plans to represent himself. To prevent another mass shooting, the country already working on new legislation to change gun laws, which the Prime Minister says will happen in days. First responders fought back tears as they returned to one of the two mosques in Christchurch, where gunmen opened fire on worshippers. They struggled with emotions as they recounted their attempts to save dying victims last Friday.
There was a river of blood coming out of the mosque, and that's a scene that you don't forget.
Mourners in New Zealand continue to honor the dead at a memorial outside of the Al Noor Mosque. Some cried, others prayed and left flowers, candles, and notes of sorrow. Some of the dead were children, the youngest just 3 years old. A suspected white supremacist has been charged with murder. By law, the 28-year-old's face had to be blurred in court. Authorities say all 5 guns he used, including 2 semi-automatic rifles, were purchased legally. A gun shop owner says the Australian man purchased 4 guns from him through a police-verified online mail order process. In response, New Zealand's Prime Minister says her government will implement stricter gun laws within 10 days.
We can bring in effective regulation of firearms that actually target those that we need to target, and that is our focus.
The suspect has apparently fired his lawyer and plans to represent himself. Some fear he'll use his murder trial as a platform for his white nationalist beliefs.
With such a strong and aggressive call for gun legislation in New Zealand, Action News Jax reached out to our Washington, D.C. bureau to find out how that stands in the way of the U.S. making a similar move.
Action News Jax Justin Gray joins us live from Washington now. And Justin, the new Democrat-led House on Capitol Hill also pushing for new gun legislation, but it's not likely to pass the Senate at this point.
Yeah, Tanika, the simple answer here is no gun legislation is going to happen as long as Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is in charge. He simply is not interested in holding votes on new gun rules. Now, House Democrats, they had pledged if they took over the House of Representatives, it'd be one of the first things on their agenda is new gun laws, and that's exactly what happened. They passed 2 bills a couple weeks ago that are basically closing loopholes for background checks, creating a universal background check. They say they have more gun laws on the agenda that they are going to attempt to pass out of the House of Representatives and likely have the votes to pass out of the House of Representatives. The issue here is that Republican leaders in the Senate do not want to hold those votes and will not hold those votes, regardless of whether it looks like there are some Republicans in the Senate who would support those bills. But the key person here, Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, he's the one who decides on the schedule, and he is the one who has decided they're not holding these votes, Tanika.
All right, Justin, and for the latest information on the New Zealand mosque shootings and how the country's government is working to keep them from happening, download the Action News Jax mobile app for free in your app store.